I might have just bought 2 tons of fabric. Yeah, so that happened. This is about 95 days out from the beginning of the tour. And the strange thing about budgeting and about working on a total shoestring of a shoestring of a budget is that you have to pick the deal when it comes. And we were incredibly lucky recently that I was in contact with a cloth merchant and asking him, we are a charity, is there any fabric which you might not be using, you couldn't sell to anyone else, particularly linens, because we're hoping to make most of our costumes out of natural fibre, mostly for practicality as well as for the aesthetique. And he said, yes, I can do you a deal where I give you a van load of fabric for a set price, which I knew, considering the price of cloth and the fact that Brexit and import fees and all that kind of stuff, I knew was a very, very good deal. So I said yes. I asked the capacity or how much he might think it would be, and he said about 4 Tesco trolleys worth. So I'm like, okay, big, but it's fine. I don't know what size Tesco trolleys he uses, but that was not what I was expecting. So last 5 days have been a heck of a lot of sorting of fabric and of I still can't. So I can't have this much fabric. I don't have the space. I don't have the room. I don't have anything. So charity bulk sale, which was great. Met some amazing people while we raised funds for Troubadour by selling off this some of this fabric. And I never thought I'd spend 5 days folding before, but it turns out that when fabric comes on like this enormous bolt, it takes up a heck of a lot more room than if it's off the bolt and folded. So folding fabric is a new thing, and not a new thing, it's a very old thing, but new to me. And so I've been slowly trying to concertina down all the fabric we have left into some kind of stock, which I then can keep in one room, which then means that I can actually sell this on at not exact market prices, but something. So, I mean, long story short, it wasn't the wrong decision. We are going to raise funds with Troubadour and have a lot of fabulous fabric for our costumes, which I also need to design and sew at some point. Yeah, and we also have the funds to pay for other little capital expenditure, which otherwise you wouldn't be able to do this year. So all of this makes sense, but I bought 2 tons of fabric and I'm now wondering what to do with it. It makes me think actually about this whole thing of movement and of motion and of, I think particularly I get stuck in a drive, and I think a lot of people do, where because of the internet, we have so much choice, so much variability that we can just hover. You compare this camera, you compare that microphone, or you compare this brand of this to that brand of that, and there are minuscule differences where if you're a novice, actually, it would make no difference to you whatsoever which one you end up using. But because there is the choice, we hover and vacillate, and it takes us 2 months longer, 2 months where we could have been learning the skill rather than continuing to research, where we could do all of this stuff until we actually kind of plunge in and do it. I did feel sick when it arrived. I was slightly horrified by, my God, what have I done? This, enormous thing, which I'm not a cloth merchant. I have virtually no idea of warp and weave and of selvage and of all the stuff I've learned incredibly fast now because I had to sell the fabric, because I had to do this, and I now know a lot more about the touch. I can feel that my fingers are being trained to understand the texture of the fabric and the way it moves, and that's amazing. It's not knowledge I expected to get, but it is it's inputting and it's interesting, and I'm glad I'm having this experience, but I would never have done this had I not just been a bit wild and stupid and I'd been offered a good deal and I just went yes, which is not my normal way. So here is to celebrating taking the mad decision sometimes. Oh, final thing. Why is it so hard to squash a cardboard tube?